Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Welcome to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this evening, as I hope and I pray that we always do. We got what we call four square conversation. Got what we call four square conversation. We have four different topics. Talk about them 30 minutes apiece. Sometimes they go a little further, and we extend those topics. So if we don't get to all four of them tonight, please understand that we're gonna keep this conversation going, and we're helping you in some kind of way. We got a great cast already here tonight. I'm not important. I'm just Raheem. These are my brothers right here that's with us. We're gonna go to my right, your left if you're looking at the screen. And this gentleman name is Guy. Guy, tell everybody who you are, brother, and where you're hailing from.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Guy Ford. I am all the way live from Stamford, Connecticut. Excited to be on this show and have an opportunity to speak to my brothers here and talk about some good discussions.
Absolutely. We have, I don't know, we got two Rodneys on here. He must be a twin. I don't know what happened.
It's so nice to add it twice.
There you go. I'm trying to figure out which one of these got the.
I'm gonna take my twin off.
There you go. Yeah, take your twin off, and tell everybody where you're hailing from, brother.
Rodney Smith, Tequila, Georgia, by way of Stamford, Connecticut.
Good deal. Rico, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
Man, I can't complain, man. How y'all doing, fellas, man? My name is Rico Jackson, and I'm from Anniston, Alabama.
Good deal. And we got a few other brothers that's going to come with us tonight as well. As a matter of fact, we have Dr. Calvin. Dr. Calvin, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
Doing great. Ready to take on Mike Tyson.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Look at everybody want to fight till they get hit. And then what Mike Tyson said. But listen, we're gonna jump right into this conversation, man. And we're gonna start the first topic off. We're gonna start off with you.
Sure.
And like I said at the beginning, we had a pretty solid week last week, so we're gonna start off a little light this week. And I'm gonna ask you this question, guy. Which of your qualities? Listen to this question. Which of your qualities would you like to pass on to an unborn son?
Which of my qualities would I like to pass on to an unborn son? Mm-hmm. Well, I think within me I have a very giving spirit. Mm-hmm. So although I need my unborn son to know who and what I am and what I stand for, there is a side of me that makes sure that I'm determined to get after it and get after what it is that I'm trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. But without that ability to be able to give back, because you have to collaborate in everything that you do in order for you to succeed, I think giving to people or giving, sharing a part of who I am as far as giving would be a wonderful to be able to give to my unborn son.
Good deal. Rico, same question, man. Which of your qualities would you want to pass on to an unborn son?
I mean, okay, I get where you're going with that. I believe, if anything, I would want to pass on my ability to try and reason, try to get an understanding of what I observe going on around me, my experience, being able to pay attention to it so I can learn from those experiences, appreciating the value of life, that the ability to think and try to understand why things happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. There was Rodney over there. Rodney must be opening up some chips. I don't know what Rodney doing over there, man. But I had to mute his line. Rodney over there open up chips and all kind of things, man. But I'm not one to call nobody else. So I'm not gonna call his name out like that. But let me go before we go further. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, good evening, brother. How you doing this evening?
Good evening, brothers. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Tell everybody where you're hailing from.
Oh, I'm from Covington, Georgia.
Good deal. Rodney, I'm gonna unmute you now, man. Put them chips down, brother.
They down.
There you go. Rodney, which one of your qualities that you could pull out of yourself and place in an unborn son, what would that quality be?
Well, besides my charm, good looks, personality, let's see. Okay. No, I would want to impart upon him a sense of purpose, a sense of history, a sense of spirituality, all the things that materialism can't give you in terms of knowing himself, because I see in today's climate, a lot of people don't know themselves and they have no goals and no objectives. So what I would give him, the sense of self, sense of history, sense of purpose, and a sense of God.
That's good. That's good. Dr. Calvin, talk to me, sir, of all your qualities. Which one would you like to pull out of yourself, and place in your unborn son? Now, he going to have this quality, but you have to place it there. What would it be?
The one that jets out the most would be my dogged determination to please God.
Okay. And see, he gonna put it out there. He gonna leave it right there. I ain't gotta say no more. I'm stopping. You don't know what you're waiting on. Don't know what you're waiting for. But yeah, I understand what you mean, sir. Absolutely, absolutely. Leonard, coming to you with the same question. One of your qualities, Leonard, of all the qualities that you have, what one would you want to pull out of yourself and place inside of your unborn son?
Well, what a weird question.
Absolutely.
Because, I wouldn't even go there.
Mm-hmm.
Because, one of the biggest things and best surprises in my life were my children.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to know if they were boys or girls.
Wow.
Or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to be completely surprised and prepared.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I would hope right from wrong. I've always known right from wrong that I can ever remember.
Mm-hmm. Now, you say you've always known right from wrong.
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you always choose the right or the wrong, or how did that work out?
No, I pretty much did whatever I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
but I never could blame it on someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I never looked at anyone else as being the fault for my choices or anything like that, even when I was a very little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
and I wish I hope my sons would know that, because the worst thing in the world for me is for you to be doing things and not know why you're doing them.
Mm-hmm. It almost sounds as though purpose is we speaking a little bit on purpose right now. So, Guy, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Well, I've been looking at a lot of different things that have been occurring in society. I mean, obviously, well, people don't even know this, that Donald Trump yesterday, for instance, had a massive 60,000 person event that was on YouTube. It wasn't even on media, of dealing with abortion and so forth and so on. What's going on in today's Roe versus Wade and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that here's a gentleman that is rebuilding his process to become president again in the United States, these United States of America. And I'm not going to say that I hate Donald Trump, because to hate is a sin to me, but he is very wise on how he is maneuvering to get back into power. Mm-hmm. He is a very powerful person, and there are more folks than we think that are for this gentleman than what we think out here in society today. So I think we need to be very careful on what it is we're trying to do. Unfortunately, I'm not happy with the people who are in office as of right now, and I know it's early, but I'm just not happy with what I see what's going on in the political space today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's good. And see, that's something that's we have to take a real careful time to look at and evaluate and see exactly where we are and evaluate exactly where we are as a country. And I don't know if anybody would say that we're pleased, but as far as the quality, is there any quality of yourself? Now, this is a little different now. Is there any quality of yourself that you would not want to pass on to your unborn son?
Is there any quality I would not like to pass on? Sometimes I could be judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
Not even knowing a person, not even knowing who they are, what they are, just through observation, I could be judgmental. And I try to, those are some of the things that I try to hone in on to make sure that I would never want to pass on to any of my children, specifically a son, to not be judgmental of people just by the way they look. Mm-hmm. Black, white, ethnic, big, strong, disabled, whatever the case may be. Sometimes I can do that, and that's wrong. You know what I mean? So I would pass that on to them.
Okay. Dr. Ellison, what do you say to that? What are some of the qualities that you would not want to pass on to your unborn son?
I wouldn't want to pass on trying to do so many things at one time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a multitasking type guy. I'm okay with putting my hands in quite a few things. I wouldn't want to pass that on to him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take on as much as your father takes on.
Mm-hmm. But see, and the thing about that, and that's why, I say I wanted to start real light with this topic today, and I think we've done that. We started very light. But my thing is, you are the example. As a father, you are the example that he's going to look at, and he's going to pattern himself after. So if you're doing it, and if you're effective in doing it, don't you think that's something that he should pick up on?
Yeah, I would agree with that. But when you look more into my world, there's maybe 2 or 3 I could probably slice off. And sometimes I'll hold on to them because the way I'm wired in my thinking, well, the way I operate, I can do several things. But I think there's that 1 or 2 that out there. You don't necessarily have to do that, Calvin Ellison. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to do that one, But I do admire, I do like to be engaged and involved in quite a few things. But I think there's 1 or 2, Ellison, you don't really have to be doing that now.
That's good. That's good. Rodney, what do you say to that? What are one of the qualities that you would not want to, under no circumstances, would you want to pass on to your unborn son?
I would think one of my issues would be probably impulsiveness, wanting to jump in and do things and not count the costs beforehand, because you spend a lot of time reinventing the wheel and spend a lot of time on projects and things that are not conducive to your future. So I would just say staying focused and not being so impulsive. Do research first.
Absolutely, absolutely. Badger, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
Good evening.
Good deal. Good. Badger, we're asking a question. What quality of all the qualities that you have, Badger, what quality would you want to pass on? Listen to this, to your unborn son.
What qualities that I have that I would want to pass on to my unborn son?
Yes.
For this current society?
Yes. Right where we are today.
None.
Wow.
The way I see this world, the way I care about human beings, the things that I've been born with, are not accepted in this society. I get to see what my son already inherited some of them. Both of them did. One inherited my IQ, one inherited my autism, one inherited my strength. And I've seen people, literally just totally ignore what they think or what they go through or all kinds of things. Why would I want to wish any of that on my children?
The things that you're speaking of, the things that you're speaking of right now, the things that you're talking about, Badger, do you think there are a pro and a con for you? Not the way that the world look at it, but for you.
A pro and a con.
Yes. Are they pros or cons?
I used to look at them as cons. Now I just view them as pros, and that just keep me being a hermit.
Wow. Okay.
That's just being honest. In today's society, if you don't believe a certain thing or fit a certain norm, unless you find a small group, which is normally a small group of like-minded folks, you ain't accepted.
Wow. Okay, let's keep this thing going. Rico, what are some of the qualities, one of your qualities that you would, under no circumstances or situation, would you want to pass on to your unborn son?
That quality of having too much sympathy. Sometimes you can have too much sympathy and it's hard for you to say no, or hard for you to let people go that you really know that you should let go.
Wow.
But maybe they're about to crash or something, but you just don't want to, let that be the one that lets that happen to them. You know what I'm saying? But you know how they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes
Yes,
you
sir.
try to lead that horse, and I think that's what it is. You know, and yeah, that's the biggest one, and then probably being too extreme.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my motto is: if you treat me good, I treat you better. If you treat me bad, I treat you worse. I wish I had more of a balance and didn't have that extreme polar opposites of that belong to me. You know what I'm saying? But I do have those extremes, and naturally, one of my sons do have it. You know, one of my sons has that cool, calm side of me, and then the other one has that side of me that's like, you know, he'll hold things in, but then you know when he finally let it out, oh my goodness!
Wow.
And that's good and bad in good ways. You know what I'm saying? It's like he holds himself back on his good qualities. But when he lets himself out, you be like, man, I didn't know you had that in you. So you know, I don't know what that comes from, but that is an extreme thing to me.
Okay, that's good. And my thing is, we have to understand, and I say this all the time about even our young people, our young teenagers. Man, they'll run through a brick wall, but you know they're so out, sometimes out. And I'm not saying this based on your son because I don't know him, but I'm saying in some situations, some circumstances, they so out of control. But if you take that same energy that they'll run through a brick wall for you, but if you take that same energy and you concentrate it on one target and keep them focused, man, you know, the sky's the limit. The sky's absolutely the limit. Cornelius, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening? Cornelius?
Hey, man.
Hey.
Well,
Good deal. Tell everybody, well, they know your name, bless you. Where you hailing from?
I'm hailing from Lawrenceville, Georgia.
By way of...
Hey, I'm getting the feedback right here.
Oh, okay. It's probably something with the phone line there. It's probably because of the fact that I'm talking. I don't know what's going on with it, man. We'll fix that. We'll definitely rectify the situation because we definitely don't. You know, we try to put the best quality out there that we can, brother. But let me ask you this question: Which of your qualities would you want to pass on, Cornelius? Would you want to pass on to your unborn son? Which one of your qualities would you want to take out of yourself and put it to your unborn son? And then there was silence.
Commitment, man.
Commitment. Okay, that's good.
Commitment.
That's good.
Commitment and faithfulness. You know, it's all the same, but commitment is one of the main qualities. But sometimes you got to be committed to. Sometimes being committed will be at a fault, because you got to know when to cut it loose. Because you can be overly committed to something, and it will hold you back from doing something better. So you got to know the wisdom on doing that, and that was just something I was just sharing with my son. Matter of fact, I was talking about my born son yesterday about this. You know, being loyal and committed to a job that's not paying him enough money that he can be that he needs to elevate himself to get better, because society is constantly growing financially, so to speak. So as you grow financially, as society grows financially, you got to grow financially. But when you're committed to something because you feel like you're obligated or loyal to someone or something that has done you well during some tough times in your life, but they need to, you need to have to let that go eventually because they're not willing to extend themselves the more, and I'm talking about more money. So if they're not willing to extend themselves the more, you need to understand that I've been committed to you as long as I can because this is, but I need to go and go somewhere so I can better my life. So you also need to be committed to making yourself better. So that's when you have to. So don't commit to something more than you commit to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that may sound a little selfish, but in the same token, you have to use wisdom with this stuff when it comes down to things and organizations and jobs and all this stuff. You got to make sure that you got to better your life. So you have to be committed to yourself more so than things. And that's just commitment to me. I had to learn that over the years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me go to Guy. And Jay, I see you there, brother. I'm coming to you next. But Guy, is that selfish? Is that selfish to know that you need to do something better to maybe it's something to improve your whole household, your family, and everything, moving on, being committed to that old job and not moving to that new job that's going to be better for you?
No, I don't think it's selfish at all. Actually, I really appreciate what that brother just said about commitment. Just to give you a little background. So I was committed to an organization for 25 years. Brother actually moved down from New York City to Eatonton, Georgia, by the name of Dr. York. I don't know if anybody ever heard of him. Malachi York in Eatonton, Georgia, and built these pyramids that they took down for whatever reason, or I don't know what the issue was. But I lived up under him, and I committed to an organization called Jamiatul Ansar Allah down in Brooklyn, New York, for 25 years as a Muslim. And that commitment actually, which the brother's talking about, that commitment allowed me to learn things that I didn't know about myself, like learning a new language. I speak fluent Arabic because of that commitment. But on one token, it was great because I learned about Arabic and I learned about the tenements and the fruits of Islam. But at the other commitment was I cut off my family. I cut off people that loved me and didn't understand why I was doing what I was doing at the moment. So commitment is I'm glad he said that. Commitment is a very, very integral part of, of our young men and women's lives, our lives actually. And it's very important that we strive to perfection, to try to commit to something.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Brother
Jay,
Raheem, I have to get off.
Yes, sir.
Have to get off of the Zoom. Hopefully I can get back on. I'm gonna do my best, but I got to get on our Zoom.
Yeah, I know you have another commitment, brother. I definitely appreciate you coming. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. And if you can, come on back in with us after it's over, okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Good deal. Absolutely. Jay, we're asking a question, brother. If you could pass on any quality of joyful Jay to your, listen to this, your unborn son, Jay, what would that quality be?
My heart. My heart. My love for God and my love for other people. I love God so much, and I like what everyone's saying. I came on a little bit late, so I've heard the word commitment. That word is huge. That word commitment. I'm committed to God first now. I was committed to myself and my own selfish ways before. Now I'm committed to God and what God's will is for my life, not what I want always, because what I want is damaging sometimes to me. I'm committed to God's will for my life and what his word says and what I should do. So I'm committed to that.
Good deal. Good deal.
Definitely my heart.
Hey, good point, brother. Rodney, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I like how that moved. The conversation moves to commitment, because as the other brother said, commitment can be a double-edged blade. Commitment can really put you in jail. Commitment can really accelerate your lifestyle. Commitment without a cause and without a direction is kind of foolish. A lot of people, as the first brother said, a lot of people are committed to their jobs, committed to bad relationships, committed to things that are detrimental to them. However, what I'm finding in a lot of people, and even sometimes myself, we are not committed to a lot of things. We'll start the race, we'll start it, but when it gets rough, whether it be marriage, a job, or relationship, when it gets too heavy, we run off before the race is over. And so again, the commitment is something that someone has to really dig within their own soul to find out what is their core, what are they, who are they, what is their existence, and commit to that.
Exactly.
That's my take on it.
Okay. Now, anybody else have anything on this particular topic before we move on? Because I got another one that we're going to go on to the next topic. Anybody?
Yeah. Hey, Raheem.
Yes,
Raheem,
sir.
may I add one more quick thing to this too?
Absolutely. Go ahead, brother.
If I may, sir.
Yeah.
Because I know, because I want to give, and I'm gonna be quick about it because I know you got to move forward. And two sides, because I'm always transparent with my stuff. I try to, because I'm honest about myself and my faults. And what I've been through in life, and I'm always designed to want to encourage people in the failures, and then turn around and tell them what God has done for me
Come on.
to change the faults. And in that, I talk about a commitment, like to my son's mother. When I was in the world before I got saved, man, I was committed to a fault, to her. Why? Because she cheated on me, man. Brought me sexual transmitted diseases and all this stuff. And to the point that when it drove, and in my mindset, I kept fooling myself and telling me in my commitment to a fault, I kept telling myself, well, I don't want to separate from her because I want to grow up in a two-family home. But she wasn't committed to that.
Yeah.
But I was. So it drove me to the point of suicide. To where I sat down in front of her and told me, if you leave me, I'm going to blow my brains out.
Wow.
And I took pills to do this and end up in a psychiatric ward. To committed to a fault.
Yeah.
But now I've committed, like the brother said, I've committed myself to God now. So what God did, he blessed me with a wife that's faithful to God first and then to me. And by that, now I'm living a life of peace and tranquility, and ain't got to worry about the woman bringing me home no sexual transmitted disease or cheating on me, because I committed my life to God, and he ended up blessing me with the woman I need to take me to the next level in the commitment to him. So I just wanted to get a example.
And I'm gonna tell you something, brother. I appreciate you, brother, because to be able to put that out there like that, and the honesty and the transparency, brother. I hope and I pray that somebody will see that and you help them in a mighty way, man. I appreciate you, brother. I definitely appreciate you. This next topic we're gonna go to right now, and like I said, this is what we call Four Square Conversation. We have 4 different topics, and I think one of these topics is gonna overlay, so we might not make it all 4. But this right here, a young lady brought this to me, and she said, "You still doing real men being men?" I said, "Of course, we're still doing that." She said, "I want you to ask these men this question," and for the sake of time, because we got so many people here, the question is this: how are you doing? And her stance was, why don't men talk about what they're going through? Why they don't discuss different things? Why are they so closed off? And so I was going to ask the question to find out which way y'all was going with it, and then I was going to add that part in it. But for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. So let me go to Joy for Jay first. Jay, the question is asked, how are you doing? Why is it that we as men would sugarcoat it and not be totally honest with who we are, how we feel, and what we're going through at that particular time? Why do you think that is?
That, sir, is a remarkable question. And I've heard several different answers on this, and I agree with this one. And I believe it was Steve Harvey who said this. He said men are not quick to give you or tell you more about themselves or be so transparent to the woman, if you will. It's because when we're looking for some comfort too. Men look for comfort in women as well. When we've had a hard day, we want someone to hear us and understand that we go through things as well. But when we don't get that, or when we get, well, this got to be done as soon as you walk in the door, or I ain't trying to hear that because you need to do this, you need to do that, instead of being sympathetic or empathizing with us, they want to boss us around or be very, very like the world is. If the man has the world beating him up all day, every day, wherever he goes, whether it be in his car, in the police, with the police or whatever, racial profile or whatever, whether it be at the job, not getting proper significance because you're the low man on the totem pole or for whatever reason, then to come home and to get attacked by the same woman who you want to confide in, who you decided, you know what, I want to spend my life with this woman. I enjoy her company. I enjoy her time. I want to spend time with her. And all you get is, yeah. If that's, you know, in that sense, or bickering, arguing, complaining, not being empathetic. When's the last time a lot of women, I'm grateful for the wife I have now, you came home from work and there was a hot meal on the table. Instead of it getting ready, it was already ready for you. When's the last time you had your woman say, you know what? Let me rub your feet. They always want the man to rub the women's feet when we gonna get our feet rubbed. Not saying I like my feet rubbed because I'm not a tough guy. I'm just saying sometimes a man needs comfort too because he has the world beating him up every day. Fellow men of the same skin tone, fellow men on the job, fellow adversaries, wherever you go, whatever you do in the supermarket, whatever, you always have the world beating up on you. So when a man comes home, he wants to confide in his wife. He wants to, just let some things off his chest because he has everything else he has to keep bottled up and keep sheltered in front of the world. If he can't get that at home, that's what stops him from being transparent and wanting to always talk.
Wow. Rico, same question, brother, and we're transporting to past the surface part, and we're gonna ask the question, man. How are you doing, and why is it that when we get that question, a lot of times, truth of the matter, a lot of times man, I'm all right, and if it's up to us, we'll leave it right there, move on to the next topic. Why don't we just talk about it more, brother?
Because we don't want to look weak. Really what it boils down to. And to certain cases, you're making yourself vulnerable to people that will take advantage of that opportunity to catch you when you're weak. Like he was saying, like when it comes to women or whatever, man, I've met a lot of women. Okay, I put it to you this way. You ever been in a situation where in the process of getting to know a woman, she starts telling you what went wrong in her last relationship? But in the process of telling you what went wrong in her last relationship, she ain't accepting a whole lot of accountability. But she's telling you about all of the weaknesses and flaws about this man. She might be telling you some intimate stuff that he don't want nobody to know because he made himself vulnerable. And if I listen to a woman telling me what a man does that he don't want another man to know that he does, man, I might not want to make myself vulnerable to this woman. Or to not many more people, because that's some low down stuff. And I actually have seen some low down stuff with people to the point where you want to put a wall up. So you put up that wall up to protect yourself, you know what I'm saying? To protect yourself from people that may want to take advantage of your flaws and vulnerabilities, whether it's even some of your friends, some of your associates, some of the people you dealt with in the past, your co-workers, that's looking at your pockets and wondering why you getting all the overtime. They ain't understanding how hard you working, and the reason why everybody offering you this overtime because you a good worker and you deserve it. But the rest of them just want it because they think you got it easy. They think it's just something about you that why everybody like him. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, you don't want to make yourself vulnerable to people that want to take advantage of opportunities to try to capitalize off of.
Absolutely. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. You're listening to Real Men Being Men, and this is Four Square Conversation. We're actually on our second square right now. We're gonna go to Guy. Guy, same question. How are you doing? Guy, why don't we answer that question? Why don't we give the real answer? Why do we give that generic? I'm all right, bro. Man, I'm all right.
Well, not that I'm perfect, my brothers, but when people ask me that question, I always say, quite often, because I think it's a mindset, if it got any better, I think it was a frame up. When people ask me how I'm doing, if it got any better, I really actually think it was a frame up. I'm doing so well in my life. It hasn't always been like this. I think a lot of that has to do with, be very honest, the lack of fatherhood in the Black man's life. I didn't grow up with a father, so I grew up with a mother and 7 children. So I was taught by this woman my mom, who always told me over and over and over again, like what men say, suck your tears up, get after it like your hair's on fire. You don't have time to cry. Straighten up and fly right and keep moving. And that's what I had to do. So at 15, I was out of the household. I left my house, went and lived with a friend of mine. And then at 17, I doing North American van lines and also going to school. And at 19 and 20, Rodney could tell you, he was right there in Stanford with me. I owned my own restaurant. I got into entrepreneurship, and I've been into entrepreneurship ever since. So I think a lot of men today lack that ability to be able to talk or speak to their significant other or people or whatever the case may be, because they have been taught the lack of fatherhood in the household. That man that was, like me with my sons today, I can go to my sons and give them, I got 2 sons, NFL boys, big, strong, big men. I can come and hug them and kiss them on the cheek and say, sit down, man, let's talk. How's your day? What's going on with you? And they're very wide open to speak to me. All the things that I did not demand that wasn't in my life, I passed on to them and speaking with them as far as manhood. That's
powerful, brother. That's powerful. And so what you're doing, you're filling their cup so that they can pass it on to their kids when they have kids and sons and daughters. So that's absolutely powerful. Cornelius, what do you say to that, man? How are you doing? Why do we give it the generic answer, Cornelius?
I have a couple of reasons it could be, and I love to take what the gentleman just said too, man. Coming from a background, also, I had my father in my life, but I didn't have my father in my life in so many different areas, and I lived in separated households as well. And my mom's used to always tell me, but remember I think we talked about that a long time ago on one of your shows about men crying, and I was taught men don't cry. I think that was one of your shows a couple of years back.
Yes, sir.
We talked about that, but gentlemen, I think about that, and I think about how my relationship is with my wife when we first got married, and she would ask me, how am I doing? Now, and I know my wife is Holy Ghost filled.
Yes.
She can discern things. And I would tell her I'm all right, even though she knew I wasn't all right. And sometimes I learned about us with men. I don't know about you gentlemen, but I'm a processor. When things happen, I like to process it before I react or before I talk about it. I like to think about it first. And I process things as a man, and I'm trying to figure this thing out. But the wife, and then sometimes you may think, because I know we talk about how women can be overly emotional, so you don't want to put too much on them, because sometimes they may overreact, and when they overreact, if you feel more pressure, because they're overreacting. So you have to, as a man, you in your mindset, you're like, let me process this, figure this out before I talk about it. But then one day, man, my wife told me this, and I had to go like Homer Simpson. Or was it Dope?
Yeah, Dope. Yes, sir.
She told me one day, I said, you know what? She said, babe, tell me so I know what to pray about.
Wow.
And I was like, babe, you're right. So now I talk to her about it. I open up more. But when we first got married, she would overreact to stuff. But that tell me how she done grow spiritually more, and able to pray about things and take it to God in prayer and help me on this situation. And that's when you give those generic answers, when you begin to learn more about each other and learn how to trust each other's reaction to things when it becomes. But once you come out of that, get into that trust factor towards one another and different things like that, then you won't give that generic answer all the time to one another. I think it's more of a trust factor. I believe in learning how to trust each other and different things. And that also begins from the household, like the brother had said earlier. It's part of your upbringing.
Absolutely.
Learning how in that family dynamic to learn how to trust each other within the family dynamic. So once that foundation is set, then once you get in your own family dynamic, it'll be more easier to do that instead of giving that generic answer. That's just my take. Sorry about too long.
No. That was good. That was good, brother. Rodney, how are you doing, bro? How are you doing?
I must tell you that I am doing a lot better than I had been in the past as I get older and get a little wiser, hopefully. Unlike most men of my era, we were passive aggressive. Somebody would say, "How you doing?" "Hey, dude, everything's fine." The way we would treat women, there would be no conversation. No conversation at all. But as I get older, I realized that part of my dilemma is not confiding and talking to other men. My favorite philosophy, my favorite phrase is "iron sharpens iron." A lot of times we as men or as people, we're in a vacuum. We're thinking we're doing everything right. We're thinking our relationships are we're doing everything right. But then we start talking to other brothers that have gone through the similar situation. We realize we're not an island anymore. Then we process things a little differently. So what I'm saying is that when we communicate among men, we reinforce, we reaffirm, we sometimes use peer pressure. We do whatever we do in order to strengthen each other. And with that, you strengthen your household, because a lot of times the "I'm doing all right" thing is a sign of insecurity, where they don't want anybody to know what they're really doing, male or female. So the easy way out is saying, "Hey, everything is good. The world's falling apart around me, but everything is good." And a lot of times we don't release that information, and we don't get anything. As they say, "Well, closed fist doesn't get anything." Closing your fist and ready to fight all the time, you can't receive the blessings. So as I got older, I realized as my time gets shorter on this earth, I started to realize that in order for my life to be worth anything, I need to open up and share with other people.
That's good. That's good. Leonard, is that I'm all right, I'm good, man? Is that just a safety mechanism that we use, or what do you think that is? And you've been studying this stuff for a long time, Leonard. Give us your expert opinion on this.
Well, first of all, I think that it's more popular to think that you should be talking about your business. I think that it's just I think men are drawn to, there's no other better way to say it than a female's perspective.
Wow.
Now there are such business needs to be between you and God. If somebody asks me how I'm doing, you know what I always tell them? The best I can. The best I can. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing the best I can. I don't believe you should be sharing all your business. Period. You know what I mean? Don't be laying up in some bed with somebody talking about your life story and all. No. It's really a mechanism, I think, that you cannot depend on. It leads to sometimes a lot of trouble and also gossip. Don't put yourself out there like that. If you really need to talk to somebody, you should be talking to somebody you have no doubt that you trust. That you completely trust, and you do believe, based on who they are and their situations, that they can contribute to whatever problem that you're going through, can help you in a way. But just an open lid pouring out your emotions and everything, I'm not a big supporter of that. And because there are a lot of things that you may be going through that everybody just don't need to know. And sometimes that's why I love prayer and things of that nature, because I would go to my God about things. If I need somebody to talk to, I have a therapist to talk to. And things like that. Somebody whom I know is in it for one reason only, and that is for my good, my benefit, and not theirs. Because just as other people have admitted, some people will take this very matter of fact, just to be transparent. A lot of times if I want some information, I send a woman to get it. From a man, if he's that type of man. Because I know that, one, she can make him vulnerable.
She's our weakness. She's our kryptonite, if you will.
You know, so I'm not big on that pouring out your feelings. I believe if you're going to do that type of thing, you do that with some trained professionals that can help you.
Now, hold on. Let me go here with you for a second, because Rodney said something earlier, and I want to throw this into the conversation before I go to Badger. He said that iron sharpens iron. I believe that. Now, with what you're saying right now, that kind of goes against that iron sharpens iron, because if we in the same circle, and trust is a big part of it, and we trust each other, Why can't I come to you, brother? Listen, man, I'm going through something right now. Man, it's not good, and this is what it is, brother. Somebody you trust. Would you do that? Would you handle it in that way, or you would just, like you say, go to a counselor?
What I mean, it just would depend on the purpose of you sharing that information.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you sharing that information? Two friends should talk.
Yeah, exactly.
But not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people.
Okay, let me do this. Then we're gonna keep this thing moving. If Johnny, now let me see. We don't have no. Okay, if Johnny was an alcoholic, Johnny was an alcoholic, and Paul was an alcoholic as well. Now Johnny know that Paul went through the little program and got himself together, and is doing better. Johnny went through the program, but he's at a moment of weakness. Can he go to Paul and say, "Look, Paul, man, it's getting rough, man. I find myself in a situation whereas I think I want to just have just one." Should he confide in him in that way, or should you just go to the counselor and let it be done in that arena?
If John is his sponsor, yes.
No, he's not. He's just a friend.
Well, usually when you're in a program like that or something like that, first of all, John is qualified to discuss it with you because he was an alcoholic. He's been through the program. That's why you're sharing it with John. That's why you're sharing it with John. That makes sense.
Okay. And that's where I was trying to get you to go right there, because my thing, and that's why I said iron sharpens iron, because sometimes if you're going through a like situation, you can lean on somebody.
But remember that the iron sharpening iron is you have to make sure that other person is iron.
Absolutely. Very good point. Badger, how you doing?
Same as always.
Badger, you missed the point of the question, brother.
I mean, you asked the question, so
you asked. I think you kind of missed the point of the question there, brother. Okay.
I mean, it's interesting, listening to everybody, because, speaking from, the white community perspective, it sounds the same. The toxic masculinity is everywhere.
Yes.
And, I was always taught, hide your heart, hide your emotions. If you cry, you're weak, and so on and so on and all that stuff. But now that I'm older, I'm teaching my kids that, it's okay to cry. You're strong because you cry. You're weak if you don't. Because to me, being aware of your emotions and being able to process them is a strength, not a weakness. So it's, and I've dug really deep actually on this topic before, of why do men teach that toxic masculinity? And it's insane, and it comes from some really, really old teachings that are not healthy. And this is one of those times I'm trying not to be political, so I'm just being vague, just to let you know.
Okay.
And it's learning how and why it was implemented, and then learning how to undo it within myself so I can set the best example for my kiddos. My grandma always told me to be true to my heart. Treat others as you would want to be treated. So if I can accept my emotions and be able to work through my emotions, but I'm going to get mad at someone that is sharing emotions, that don't make no sense. What I'm really mad at is the fact I don't know my own emotions because I was never taught how.
Wow. Okay. That's good. Guy, as men, are we attached to our emotions?
I think we all are attached to our emotions, somehow, some way. I don't know. I believe in the philosophy of we both exist. There is a spiritual component to us, but there's also a soul. And I believe, that your emotion has more to do with your soul compared to your spirit. I think, to me, a spirit could be a vibration. It is a vibration. A rock has a spirit. It doesn't necessarily have a soul, in my interpretation. A soul, again, has an emotion. So yes, to answer your question, we are emotional creatures, each and every one of us, as human beings. And that I do know that there's definitely a difference between the spirit and the soul.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Rodney, why is it we try to be so pressure busts a pipe? Pressure will burst a pipe. So why do we try to hold so much in, Rodney? And we just don't want to express ourselves. What is it about us that make us want to? Some of us want to do that.
In my personal humble opinion, sometimes it's insecurity. And other times it's looking in the mirror, dealing with reality. A lot of times we don't want to deal with the reality of what we're dealing with. So it's easier to ignore it or mask it and not confront it. And so I think basically that's what it comes down to: insecurity and lack of confrontation with oneself that creates that issue.
Wow.
Thus creating the pressure.
Absolutely. Jay, talk to me, brother.
Yes, I'm agreeing with the panel on this one. And I like what the gentleman said, because I experienced the same, not knowing my father, not seeing him, not talking to him ever, but hearing about him. I heard my mother and my aunts, oh, your dad was this, your dad was that. And me as a little kid, I'm like, well, where's the man? So that in turn, when I had children I have baby mothers, yes, but I tell them all before I got down with them, before we did anything, I said, listen, whether me and you are cool or not, if we have a baby, I'm going to be in that baby's life no matter what. To this day, all of my children live in another state, but they all see their dad at least once a week. Because I make sure that I'm there. Even if I can't do things physically, financially for them, because I'm disabled, at least they know my face. They can always call on dad, and I'm going to be very transparent with them about anything. Because I was insecure, because I never knew my father, and I always thought, as some of the gentlemen said, a man's not supposed to cry. You're supposed to stand up and take it as a man. You're supposed to work through the pain. So I did those things. In the long run, I felt, as I got older, like the gentleman said earlier as well, as I got older and I learned, it's okay to come to confide in someone that you can confide in, that you can really trust. And it's okay, because every woman is not the same as the last woman, or every man is not the same as the last man. So everyone's not going to treat you like that. Someone's going to have some standards. And you know what? And I got to tell my wife now, I love God. I trust God. So I know that he's not going to give me anything that's detrimental to me. That's why I trust her.
Absolutely. Cornelius, the weight of the world can be tremendous on an individual, man, woman, boy, or whatever the case. Why is it that we should be able to take that gut punch and keep it moving like it doesn't affect us? Why is it that we expected to do so, Cornelius?
Because we've been taught that way. We've been taught to be strong.
What do you do when you're weak? What do you in that instance? What do you do when you're weak, though? Because everybody have a moment of weakness as well.
I could go spiritual with this, but I'm gonna stay natural. Because we are spiritual men. We understand that we go to God and pray.
Absolutely.
To gather strength, to try to get understanding and a perspective on why this situation is, or how should I handle that situation. But I'm gonna go natural in this aspect, especially when you haven't been taught in the home growing up as a man, and in the weight of the world, and being that person that's been in that side of it, to where it just gives you another quick transparency on this. When my father died of cancer, I didn't have, when I finally realized, and I've shared this before, when I finally realized that I needed to learn from my father after my mom's died, and I realized I need to learn from him. So how to do this and how to do that. Because he left me all this property in Detroit, and I needed to know more from him. And by the time I figured it out, it was too late. He died of colon cancer. So now he put the pressure on me to say, he told me, I remember on his deathbed, laying up in that hospital, he told me, son, don't lose my property. And I'm like, man. So now, not knowing how to be a landlord, not knowing how to go down to all these places and learning from people to how to do taxes, take care of my taxes, and do all this stuff, I ended up losing this property. And I felt the weight of the world on me, man. And I felt so much pressure to where I was losing it. And what did I do? I went to drinking. I went to women. I did all this stuff to try to ease the pressure of what the world was giving me at that time and trying to obey what my father told me to do. That where finally I had to realize I just didn't have it. I didn't know what to do. So I had to let it go. And once I realized that, I had to be like, okay, and then what's the old saying? I had to relax, release, and relate. And how it go? Relax, release, and relate. I had to do all those things to pull back and say, you know what? I didn't know what I was doing. I had to accept my flaws and then learn how to get up and do better. And then go to school and whatever that case. But you got to be able to get up and remove and understand that you got shortcomings.
Yes.
You're weak. You're not perfect. Ain't no human being on this earth perfect. We all have our shortcomings. And once you realize that, then you're able to move forward and do the best whatever you're trying to do in your life. So that's just how I would handle when you talk about being weak.
Good deal. Absolutely. Larry, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Did you just call me right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think I lost what you were talking about.
Well, we transitioned from one place to another place of how, and now we're at a place where we're talking about how if the world have its trials and tribulations and it can actually weigh on you. Why is it that we as men feel as though we could carry that weight, take that gut punch, and just carry on like it never happened?
Well, I was listening to brothers previously, and I think that men have been made that way.
Is that a good thing?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, because we definitely know that there is something lacking in our female part. And why a female is drawn to a strong man who can handle certain things. A person that she can put her trust in. That bit of vulnerability that makes us come together that way. I think it's distinct between men and women. And men should be able to bear certain things. Now, if you can't, then you can grow into it. But I believe that the original design was for men to lead.
Yes.
And that this is why my dad used to say, because I got another brother and a younger sister, you don't play with little girls like you play with little boys. I don't know if you've all were ever taught that or not. But you treat women a certain way because they're more fragile than you would your male friend. And I think this is part of how we are created and why we were created the way we were. Why are we so much bigger or less scared of things, I would say, more rambunctious, like boys. Boys are natural, sometimes rough. Where girls seem just a little bit more reserved. There's something about them that makes them female, women, and we're attracted to them just like they're attracted to a certain quality about us. And I think that quality about us is our ability to stand when necessary.
Oh, you talking about like a magnetic attraction?
I think it is something that they long for as women in men. It may have to do something with what Christians would identify in relation to almost to her curse.
Wow.
That she longs for a man, which is why you will hear so many women. A lot of women will say, "Had I never met that man, I never would have. I never would have this. I never would. He was supposed to protect me." Like, say, for instance, you expect me to ask you to marry me. You.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. There's a certain responsibility as a man that we are forgetting to teach boys.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. But I'm gonna tell you something. I've seen a couple of videos, TikTok, and different places like that, man, where these women get down on one knee now, man. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, they can do it, but that don't mean it's not out of order.
That is out of order. Okay.
Some people don't think so, but I think it's out of order.
Yeah.
I don't want no woman proposing to me. I don't know about these other brothers on the line.
Exactly. Anybody have anything else before we move on to the next topic? Everybody's good, so good deal. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening? Tucson, you there? Hit your mute button, brother. Time is money, brother.
I'm doing these mute buttons and all that kind of stuff.
Good. Okay, Tucson, you actually got us on speaker. You got us on speaker, bro. That's why.
So now, hold on a second.
Take it off speaker until then put it back on speaker if need be. But while I'm asking you the question, there you go. Perfect. Tucson, I'm gonna ask you this question. We're gonna go to our next square, and our next square this right here. And this is an individual question. Nobody take it off speaker on Tucson.
Take it off speaker on Tucson.
Okay. How do you control?
How do you control your grief? How do I? What are you talking to me?
Tucson.
You. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So what you saying? How do I do what then?
How do you control your rage?
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Look, I tell you what I'm gonna do right here. I'm gonna call in because I'm having some issues.
Okay, cool.
Okay, just go ahead.
Okay. Rodney.
Yes.
How do you control your rage?
I try to measure it in terms of not letting it take me to a place I don't need it to go. What I try to do whenever I feel enraged, I try to gauge it. I try to dissect what's going on. Because I used to tell my son, I said, you could, being angry is a good thing. You can either be a firecracker or you can be a bullet. A bullet is directed. A firecracker blows up everything around it. So I said, take that anger, focus it, and control it. So that's how I process it pretty much, is take myself out of it for a second, observe my surroundings, and act accordingly.
Good deal. Rico, brother, how do you control your rage?
Man, that's it really depends on where I am, probably what mood I'm in. You know, sometimes I can lose control, and then sometimes I could just, find something that I like to do and just determine, make the decision to get involved in that and just put everything to the side. I'll find a way to distract myself if I can. Sometimes you're in the heat of the moment. In the heat of the moment, it's really hard to, it's really hard to control yourself sometimes, because you could be in a situation where somebody's going to continue to push you to a position where you don't have any choice but to respond or react to what they're doing.
At that time, Rico, are you relinquishing your power at that time, or do they have power over you? If that be the case,
are you? If they put me in a situation where I got to save my life because they about to try to beat me to death, then I relinquish all my power on them. I guess that's what you could call it. I mean, but I might be in a situation where I don't want to do that. but I gotta survive. I gotta live, because sometimes, you don't have the option, even though you don't want to, you don't have the option of to have that other person not do what they want to do. So yeah, I mean, but for the most part, man, I mean, it depends on what the situation is. If it's something that is like a situation, an issue that's going on, maybe I might look at things that's going on in the world and it infuriates me. You know what I'm saying? A couple of times when I saw what went on with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, I cried. But that was tears of rage. I mean, so yeah, I respond in different ways, but for the most part, I try my best to stay to myself anyway. So I don't have to deal with too many people that will get me in a issue of where I feel like I'm in a rage because I might have anger issues anyway. Well, I do sort of have anger issues anyway. So I limit my contact with people just for that reason.
Okay. And that goes to knowing thyself, man. You gotta know who you are. You gotta know yourself and know what triggers to stay away from. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, if I understand correctly, you're on the phone line now. Are you there, Tucson?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you?
Much better, much better. Yes, sir. How do you control your rage?
There's different levels of rages. If I get too upset, I'll find me somewhere to sit down and go to sleep. That don't make no sense. But I do. I actually go to sleep. I can get upset. I'm talking about furious. And I sit down in the corner somewhere, shut my mouth, and try to just relax.
That's good.
Because see now, that's out of character. If you allow somebody to bring you to a certain point, then that's kind of a way of manipulating your who you are and the way you try to be to the best of your ability. There are some things that are out of my control. So I don't let nobody get in my space. Don't touch me and don't try to get in my head.
Wow.
I don't. There are some things, and you say control my rage. I don't think I can control it once I get there. So I try not to get there.
Yeah.
I can kind of maneuver my way through the situation to the point that, first of all, I got to go ahead and think about where I am and kind of analyze the situation. And first of all, what's it worth? Is it worth me getting into a situation that I wish I never would have got into? So I have to back up, think within myself what I have to gain or lose, and then make a decision. And if it gets so bad, then I get in a place away from the situation and relax on it. That's what I do. Really.
That's good. That's good.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Let's give this rage a level. Let's take it up a notch. Let's put the rage on. Let's say, for instance, one of your family members, your child was in that church that Dylan Roof shot up, or it was one of them children that was in that school shooting that just passed, or in the grocery store. Let's say Emmett Till was your son. Timothy Rice was your son. Trayvon Martin parents. That type of rage. Because I mean, we hear the word rage, and I thought about just the different type of levels of rage, like Donald just said, like Mr. Tucson just said, but I'm thinking about Ahmaud Arbery's parents.
Yeah.
That type of rage. What would you do, especially if you actually, because you ever seen Court Cam? Well, sometimes the people come out the audience and they get up there and the police have to beat them to death because they're trying to get at that person that's over there that's on the defense side. That type of rage. What I mean? Because this might take it up a notch, you know what I'm saying, with some of the answers.
Okay. Let's do that then. Let's deal with that type of rage. And how do you control it? Can you control it? Is it truth of the matter? Is it controllable? Guy, what do you say to that?
Right, Brother Raheem. I mean, well, you know my story.
Yes, sir.
And you know, for those who don't know my story, I've gone through that rage. And I think the mechanism that I was able, that was a learning mechanism of how to handle death in front of your eyes, how to handle murder. Someone got murdered in front of me, and I was able to go into a state of rage that I've never been there before. That's what I'm saying. We all, within us, we all have this isolated mechanism or switch that will profoundly create havoc on another person. And so how I deal with that, because personally, I get a feeling now in my life after I went through that incident, when this was back in 1983, I get a personal feeling within my spirit and within my being that I cannot be around this particular person and or incident. I must move away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I do know here's the deal. I do know what my capabilities of what I can do, because I did it already. And I went to the penitentiary behind it and all of that. So I had to stay away from that. It's been 30 years, thank God, that I've not been back in that situation. And when I get close to it, I move away real fast. And Raheem and Rodney both know my favorite saying: you can't open the door for everyone.
Yeah.
That door could be your mind. That door can be your heart. That door can be your spirit. That door can be your chakras. I don't know if you guys know what chakras are, openings.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And or that door can physically be a door. I opened the door for a young man that changed my life forever. And so I know how to deal with rage.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Cornelius, how do you deal with that rage? How do you control your rage?
You know, man, I've been listening to everybody, and I love what everybody's saying, man. I'm in this particular question you're asking, Raheem. I got to be led by the Holy Spirit how I say this. In this aspect, this is not coming from an opinionated aspect, but it's coming spiritual from what God has shown me throughout His Word and throughout my life and throughout different situations. And I'm gonna start off with this. I'm gonna try not to be too long, but I do feel my preacher man coming on and saying this. And it's leading right into what I preached about Sunday in my message that God had gave me. And the title of my message was exposing the spirit of sabotage while it uses the spirit of offense. And if you notice, Jesus said that offenses will come. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So a lot of people will be offended by a lot of things. And within that, the Bible talks about be angry, but sin not.
Yes. Yes.
We all have a right to get angry. But the sinning part is acting on it, right? So in saying that, I think about Cain and Abel. Cain was offended by God because God didn't accept his sacrifice. So what did he do? He killed his own brother. So in saying that, you think about these things, man. The way to control it, you got to acknowledge that you've been offended by something. Now, when you harbor it too long, to release that offense, to keep that rage in check, you can't hold on to it. You've got to let it go. And in aspect, because these are the 4 areas that God gave me when I was preaching this Sunday. You got to forgive. You got to pray for your own wounded soul. Because you've been wounded by whatever that situation is. Because if you don't pray, then you're going to harbor that stuff. And that's the other one. You got to let it go. And then you cannot put too much then you cannot feed and go into other people to counsel you in that rage, because they can mess around and feed more into the rage. That's like adding more charcoal to a fire to make it explode. So in those 4 different areas, that's what God was showing me in this message. When things offend you and cause you to go into that rage, you got to get to the point to let it go. And I say that to say this. Y'all know the guys that have been on this thing. I told y'all about that dude that disrespected me.
Yes.
Raheem, I told you, I was at a rage. Because I had that equalizer thought in my head. I really truly wanted to kill him. But I had to repent. And I'm saved. I got the Holy Ghost. I know I do. But I thought about the consequences. If I do this, think about everything that I've lost.
Yes.
Everything that God has placed in my heart. All the people that gained the respect for me in my church, my pastor, my wife, all these things. I'm thinking about what would happen if I allowed that rage to overtake me. And before I got God's spirit, I went there and pulled a gun on somebody and tried to pull the trigger, but the gun jammed on me. And those are the things that where I've been on 2 sides of the track to know how to control it and lost it in that rage. So, and those are just, but those 4 areas that God was showing me about that spirit of offense in those areas, man, that's how we able to control those things that will cause us to go there. So that's just my take I just wanted to share.
Absolutely. Good deal. Good deal. We're going to keep this thing going. Badger, how do you control your rage?
By staying in rage. I'm honestly a very angry human being. But it's also what keeps me chill. Keeps me calm, keeps me collected, because I know what I can do. So it's not as much for me, and the way I deal with mine is not me controlling it. I learned how to accept it as part of who I am. You know, I've had talks with Leonard and different things like that. I'm honestly just I guess I'm weird in some aspects, because I'm grateful for the anger. And the way it drives my passion, the way it drives just the way it helps me be able to live in this world.
So am I hearing you say that your rage is a positive thing?
Yeah. Because through my rage, I learned not to put hands on people. Through my rage, I learned that I can bend metal. I can do all kinds of crazy stuff. So I learned to accept it. So no matter what, the last time I raged was a long time ago. I think I was 16 years ago. Where I went into a rage, and it was after that I learned that that's something I'm not gonna be able to control or let go. So I learned to accept it and approach it from a different direction.
Okay. That's good. Jay, talk to me, brother. How do you control your rage? Now your name is Joyful Jay. Now, how Joyful Jay got in the rage? But anyway, how do you control your rage, brother?
I'm so glad you asked that question, my brother. I don't control it. I give it away. I really do. Because again, I give to God. Jesus said his burden is light. Cast all my cares upon him. Because I know how dangerous I am when I get upset. When I get into a rage. The Bible does say in Ephesians, you can get angry, but don't sin, as everyone's saying. Be angry, but sin not. And don't let the sun go down on your wrath. So like wrath is something I think is stronger than anger. But and in the Bible, the scripture telling us don't let the sun go down. I know that I hold on to it and it festers in me when I'm angry, or before when I was angry. Like they didn't give me the name felony for no reason. I've done some things. Yeah. I've been to jail, just like the gentleman said, and all this other stuff. I've done some things I'm not proud of. At the same time, because I know what I'm capable of, as he said earlier, if I should get angry, because I am Joyful Jay, I stay with positivity all the time. My wife will tell you, I don't even argue. We keep gospel music on. I put on a comedy, anything. When I'm in pain. A lot of days I'm in pain because of the rain. I can't be frustrated because of my brain damage. I get angry. So in order for me to do that, first off, I give it to God. Secondly, I do a lot of things that's all positive. Everything I do has got to be positive. Positive music, comedy, just joy. Why? Because I'm in pain anyway. I don't have time to deal with that, so I give it away. To make a long answer short.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Leonard, how do you control your rage, brother?
Oh man. Well, it's practice. And one of the things that I seen a quote, I believe Elijah Muhammad says, a man should think about something 10 times. 10 times before he reacts. And that alone in itself gives you time to weigh the options. I think that when it comes to rage, because I'm not big on rage, but I am able to focus anger and take the energy out of it. Because unlike many of you, I wouldn't feel bad at all about hurting someone that would be coming against me. I would have no remorse whatsoever.
Wow.
And that's what I would use that energy for. That's just the reason why I don't engage in violence. I practice meditation. And one, you're not going to knock me off. You're not going to make me react. I've already settled that fight within myself. So if I'm going to do something, I've chosen to do it. There was nothing else. I chose to do it. And you know how some say, well, if you wouldn't have said this, I wouldn't have did that. That's no excuse. And then I'm going to focus that rage on you. Period. But I am working towards a better way. But I will never let go of my ability to defend myself. And so I channel any energy that way that's that powerful to use it when necessary. Because sometimes it may be necessary. And I don't find fault with myself about it or anything. I have a right to defend myself. And whatever happens, happens. And so I'm not sure if I'm on the same page with most people, but that's just how I handle things. I am very nonviolent. So if anybody who knows me heard Leonard jumped on somebody, oh, they deserved it. Because they know I would never attack anyone for no reason. They know that about me. I'm just not that. I've never been that type of guy. You have to go out of your way to pull me in a certain direction where I have to defend myself.
Okay. I thought Rodney was down there flexing for a second. I didn't know what he was doing. I thought he was flexing. I thought he was having a Hulk Hogan moment or something. I didn't know what was going on. But let me go to Guy. Guy, what's on your heart, brother? You know, we got a few more minutes before we go to our next topic. Well,
I'm listening to everyone's perspective, which is very powerful, and I think it's encouraging that we all think differently, but we all are also all in the same vein of thinking when it comes to if something ever did occur, how we would be able to handle it. You know, I also was thinking about there are a lot of different things that are going on in society today that we could really help push. I don't know what the agenda is with, and I don't judge. Again, I was judging. I was very much into judgment and judging people. But what do gentlemen here feel about, you know, men who are transsexual moving into women and women who are moving into men, like Brittany Griner, who I think is still in Russia?
Yes. She got to have a trial Friday, I think it is.
Is that okay? Yeah, I mean, what's the thought on that? Because I was hearing a lot what we were talking about, what's innately already within us as men. And I know biblically, when it comes from the Bible, there's a different structure or what the scriptures say compared to what people who are living in those moments feel? What are some of the views and thoughts on that transsexual identity concept? What do you think about some of that?
Let me and we got 4 minutes before we get to our next topic, so we're gonna knock this out as speedily as we can. But my thing is this, right? I think, and this is just me, instead of having them transition back and forth, or a man that was that wants to be a woman in a girl sport or vice versa, I think they should have their own lane. I think that they should really have their own lane. And if it's a woman, if it's a man that want to transition over to being a woman, let them have their lane, and all of them be in that lane, in the sports lane together, because now you're on an even playing field. Because I think if he was a man and he wanted, LeBron James, say if LeBron James want to transition over and become a woman, now if he go to the WNBA, what do you think will happen?
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
They'll win every year, man. Who's gonna stop LeBron James? Who's gonna stop him? What woman gonna stand in front of LeBron James and stop LeBron James if he's coming down the middle and he, it's the same physicality that they have right now? How fair is that? Right. Anybody else? That's just me. I could be off. I could be off base. I totally could be. Anybody else have any thoughts on it? What you want, man? Look at Rico.
They said life imitates art, right?
Yeah.
I don't really understand the question.
Should if a man want to, if LeBron James want to transition over and become a transgender, want to be a woman now, should he be able to play in women's sports?
I think that's what I miss. He can transition to a woman if he wants. I don't believe he should be able to play in the WNBA.
Exactly. That's the point. Exactly. You didn't miss nothing.
Okay.
Anybody else? Man, y'all
I'm
not going down this rabbit hole.
Is that exactly where he was going with the question? Because I know they did make a ruling on it on swimmer.
That is correct.
So I mean they and that was a correct decision. To me, it should have been logical that the man should have been racing other men that's going through the same process as he's going through.
That was my point.
It was man, it was such an unfair advantage just looking at him standing side by side next to those women, man. I mean, his feet are like flippers. He got like 2 or 3 sizes feet wise and hand wise. So he's scooping more water and he's flipping more water with them feet, man. I mean, he was gonna break every record they ever had. It was common sense that was a logical move.
And the reason why I used the picture with LeBron James, because that gave everybody a more of a, some people didn't see that, and that gave them a visual as to what we're talking about and how of an advantage it would be for him and a disadvantage it would be for the young ladies. Anybody else?
Well, let me say this. I think that at some point in the society that we live in, they would pick up on the unfairness, and all of a sudden they would make exceptions to the rule. Because it's all right when it's a timid man that decides that they want to be transfer over. But when you get to a point where you have this macho, strong, buff man that makes the same decision, they're going to see the real unfairness of it. So if now we're going to see how governments operate, because they keep moving the
goalposts,
the goal line.
Yeah.
Yes. In certain circumstances.
Yeah.
They've been doing it since the beginning of time.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to our last question. And Rodney, we're gonna start it off with you, brother. Got you muted there. He has some background noise going on. I got you unmuted now. Where or when are we as men? When are we as men comfortable?
That's an interesting question. When we are at peace with ourselves, when we control our environment, we let our spiritual life guide us, and we do not let most like the last square, we don't allow external influences influence our actions and our feelings. So that's where I think we're most comfortable when we're in our own zone. As Maslow said, you want to be in your period of total accomplishment, and we were never going to get to that point. But however, that's where we want to be when we're able to sit down with the grandchildren, and we had a full life, and life is good financially, life is good spiritually. So
basically, as young men, we might not get there. We got to be old men and on our last leg before we can be comfortable.
Well, no, the thing is that life teaches you. Life will give you wisdom. Life will have you appreciate things. There's a thing on my Facebook page I put that said that I would hope for everyone to be rich, famous, and have everything they want, and then they realize they don't have everything.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Toussaint, when are we as men comfortable?
When you're dead.
Lord Jesus.
Lord. We can't get comfortable. That's kind of like being complacent. We're never ready to settle and say I'm good. I'm not. I'm doing well. Okay, I'm saying that right now.
Yeah,
I'm doing well. I do what I want to do. I go where I want to go. I have choices on how I can get there. I work when I want to work. At work, I do what I want to do. But I am not comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not settled for the life that I have. I want better because I got somebody behind me. I got kids and grandchildren. So I can't afford to be comfortable. That's just me. And I think that men, for the most part, we're like that. Because if you consider yourself to be a provider and you're trying to leave a heritage for those behind you, how can you be?
Okay. Let's go to Guy. When are we as men? When are we comfortable, brother?
I have to ditto everything that Rodney said and the brother Suzanne said. I think it's our own perspective. What determines your comfortability? What you as an individual. Some people are very comfortable living on a beach, being a waiter, watching the sunrise up every morning, and then some people are very not comfortable enough until they become multimillionaires. There's some people, Elon Musk and those guys keep going on and on and on. So I think that comfortability measurement comes in where it's an individual purpose. I wouldn't say it as men and or as women. I would say from an individual perspective, it's your comfortability level. I'm comfortable. I got to be honest. I'm very comfortable, like Toussaint just said, leaving a legacy, leaving behind opportunities for, those that come behind me, an opportunity to be able to grow. And then, at the end of the day, nobody makes it out alive. So that's when I'm most comfortable. But I think it's an individual basis.
Okay, good deal. Cornelius, when are we as men? When are we as men comfortable?
I was listening to what Toussaint said. When we did, I started laughing. I was like, "Wait, stop!" I had to speak mute button. But you know what, man? I was listening to a podcast of this show called The Pivot, and the guy that has this podcast is
you're always doing
your boy Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark and a couple of the NFL players and Fred Taylor and them. They just did an interview with your coach, the coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Did you see it?
I didn't see it. No, Tomlin.
Check it out when you get a chance. It was a very enlightened, and I gained a whole new respect for the Pittsburgh Steelers coach after I heard him talk. That dude is for real. And they asked him that question. And they asked him, and he said, I will never be comfortable. They was like, out of all the accolades you got, you're a Hall of Famer, you're a 2-time Super Bowl coach, you this and you that. He said, no, I ain't. He said, I don't care nothing about all that. I feel like I owe these men that I'm coaching the respect they deserve. So I'm never comfortable. I'm always in the moment to try to constantly get better. So when he said that struck something in me because I'm like, man, as men, it's no comfortability because one thing I learned about life in this life, you got to always keep your head on the swivel. Even when I was on the football field, they tell you on the football field, keep your head on the swivel. This life is like a life we know it's called by God, but when you're on the natural, you see it as a game, the game of life. You're on the field. You're playing your game that's been presented to you, and you trying to score every time you move it up and down the field of the game of life. You trying to accomplish whatever that thing is. So there's no comfortability in that because, like you said earlier, comfortability breeds complacency. That's what your Pittsburgh Steelers coach said. So we can never be comfortable as men because we're always trying to make things happen. So whatever is around in our life, in our inner circle, you want those things to constantly grow. So as men, it's hard to find comfortability because you don't want to be complacent in that. And that's just my thing. But check that podcast out called The Pivot with your coach, man. That was a real interesting interview.
Okay, good deal. So basically what you're saying, you're going to be a Pittsburgh Steelers this year. You're leaving them old Detroit Lions alone.
I disrespect the coach. I ain't no fan.
Good deal. Leonard, when are we as men comfortable?
I think we're most comfortable when we have things under our control. I know I am. But it's hard to get comfortable for me now because I'm not at that place yet. Because I'm still striving for things. So I haven't gotten to the point where I'm satisfied with things. You know, I do okay. You know, I'm blessed, but I have issues. Remember what you said about passing something along to your children?
Yes, sir.
One thing I wouldn't want to pass is anxiety or any depression of any kind or anything like that. But I'm not content right now. So I have a hard time being comfortable, you know, to the point where sometimes I don't like to sleep. You know, I'm just that uncomfortable sometimes. I'm getting much better, you know, with things. But that is one of my issues is I remember when I used to just walk off. I think me and somebody was laughing about it. I was talking to the other day. He had a rough day at work. He said, man, I'm going to start hoboing. And I was like, dude, I used to be that guy that just walk off and be missing for a couple of days. I could be hitchhiking or anything. So I've gotten so much better at not doing that. You know, just, you know, what it's like to, you know, that wandering off stage that I used to have. God really worked with me on that. And my family helped to stabilize me. To say, okay, you know, when my wife first said she was pregnant, my whole life had to change.
Wow.
My whole entire life had to change. And that was a huge turning point for me because it was time for me to be responsible.
Yeah.
I didn't have to like it or anything. I had to be responsible because I had a child coming into this world to provide for.
Yep. Man up.
So exactly. So that's when I really got my stuff together. You know, and now it also comes back full circle when I look at him now and I was like, boy, that's the difference between being a father and a son. is all the sacrifices I made for him. He'll never know.
Yeah.
He'll never know. And it's not for him to know. It's for him to experience it with his son.
Carried on. And that's much like Guy was talking about when he said, you know, he's pouring something into the cups so they could pass it on to their sons. And that's powerful. That's powerful. Rico, when are we as men comfortable?
Man, them took the words out of my mouth, man. The whole time I was thinking, you know, when you have complete control of the outcome, when you have complete control or knowledge of what's going on around you, you know, control of the direction that you want to go in, and not have to depend on somebody else determining the direction that you may have to go in. It's like security, job security, financial security. You're comfortable when you know that you've done everything that you have ever wanted to do. And you left every stone unturned, and you can say, well, okay, I was curious. I wanted to experience this, and I did that. You can sit back and look at the accolades, or you can look at the places that you've traveled, and you can say, okay, I'm happy. I've heard plenty of people say, you know what, man, I've lived a fulfilling life. And you can see it by the way they carry themselves, that they are very comfortable. They're peaceful. And some of them actually still look young because they're so happy. So, I mean, you know, I think that's when a person really gets truly comfortable, to the point to where, you know, he really knows that he can control his complete control of the outcome.
Absolutely. That's good. That's good. Badger, talk to me. What do you say to that?
I mean, everyone's hitting it on the head. You know, for me, it's
come on.
Can you say it again?
When are we as men truly completely comfortable?
When we accept every single thing about ourselves, our faults, our strengths, our trying to remember how to pronounce that word, shortcomings, everything. Because we're human. We're going to have faults. We're going to have issues. We're going to have struggles. We're going to experience things in life. Like, I didn't think 6 years ago I'd be on the be put on disability because my spine gave out on me. I would have never thought that. Because I was always known for my strength, my physical strength. Now I rely on my mental strength. I've learned how to live a different way. Learn to accept that, hey, I didn't take care of myself. This is what I get. You know, so it's learning that a lot of the toxic teachings aren't true. It's what keeps us from being able to be at our most comfortable, and why a lot of people don't find that comfortableness until they get older and learn that a lot of the teachings that were passed down isn't right.
That's good.
You know, so it's what, like, how many have been told, like, don't let your kids see you cry, and, you know, don't do this and don't do that, and you're not allowed to do this. And I'm so comfortable. I'm like, look, if I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry. If you don't like it, get. You're the one that's insecure, not me.
Exactly.
So, I mean, like, I'll show you how secure I am. If I think a man looks handsome, I'm going to say he looks handsome. And I don't care if anyone thinks or wants to call me whatever they want to call me. I know who I am and I know what I am. So I'm to the point that if you want to call me gay for saying something like that or whatever, I don't care anymore. And that's where my comfort level is. Now, if you come messing with my kids and talking to my kids like that, I'm not going to let that rage just be calm and chill anymore.
That's good. That's good. Jay, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I believe the question was, when is a man truly comfortable.
Yes.
I can honestly say I am truly comfortable right now. Now, it depends on how you look at things. I want to live. I want to do things. I want to enjoy my family and stuff like that. But I've come to the realization because of what's happened in my life that I don't have control of anything. God has control of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just let him do what he does and just trust him because he's brought me this far, 43 long years, with all the stuff I've been through, and I'm still good, why not trust him with the next however many years he grants me with? Mm-hmm. So I'm comfortable in letting him have complete control.
That's good. That's good. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here, so I'm gonna throw some. I got to be. I hadn't had an opportunity too much tonight to be silly tonight, so I gotta be silly a little bit. So I gotta throw a little silly question out there, and I'm gonna start off with Guy. Guy, I'm gonna start. I think I got you on mute. Yeah. Guy, let me ask you this question: what is in your whole life of living? What's the most comfortable pair of shoes you ever had on your feet?
Stacy Adams. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Stacy Adams.
Mistakes, okay. What made them the most comfortable?
The way that they are intertwined and laced, and how they conform around the foot. Extremely comfortable. I can run them. I'm a runner, so I can run the Stacy Adams.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: when you put on a real nice suit, and you put on a real nice suit, and everything is in place, everything's in place, and then you sit down and you put on them Stacy Adams, and you look down and you see them Adams on your feet. How do you feel, man?
It makes me. I'm a proud man. The shoe is a very important aspect of it. It determines a lot of who and what you are and your style. Let's put it that way. It's your style. And I used to watch brothers years ago. From Malcolm X and all those cats who used to wear those type of shoes. You could check it out too online. It's a smooth piece. That with a bow tie is a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rico, talk to me, brother. What's the most comfortable pair of shoes you ever had on your feet? And how do you feel when you get the outfit together and then you put them shoes on? And it just signatures on it. How does that feel, Rico? Hold on, brother. I got you muted. I'm sorry. I had you muted there. Go ahead.
That's different when you speak about the look of a shoe and the comfort of a shoe.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the most comfortable shoe I ever had was a Rockport.
Man, and people tell me about that all the time. Man, they say they're not the most expensive shoe, but man, you hit a home run with that one, brother. Them Rockports are very comfortable. Go ahead.
Now, they used to be expensive, that Rockport.
Mm-hmm.
And then now if you want to speak on tennis shoes, you know what I'm saying? Them Jordans feel pretty good on your feet, man.
Mm-hmm.
Jordans feel pretty good on your feet. I mean, I have to say it. I mean, I ain't really big on, just because of the name brand of the fashion, but I found me one certain pair that I liked, and I said, well, I'll go ahead and get those when they come out. And I like the feel of them with my feet inside of them, man. So I can almost sleep in them bad boys. I mean, I don't know if the rest of them feel that way, but some shoes feel good on your feet, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it makes a difference, man. And the truth of the matter, it makes you feel different. When you got a comfortable pair of shoes on your feet, man, in comparison, you're walking around, man, you can barely step because the shoes, man, your cones, not your corns, but your cones and your bunions are acting up, man. Come on, man. Badger, talk to me. What's the most comfortable pair of shoes you ever had?
I'm trying to remember how to pronounce them. That they're like ACIS or something, or IS.
ACIS. Yeah, ACIS.
Mm-hmm. When I found out I have some biomechanical issues with my legs and feet, they recommended those shoes, and got some custom insoles, and I can actually walk around the store. So I'm very grateful for them things.
There you go.
The price tag was a bit much, but at least I can walk farther now.
Yeah, exactly. Joy for Jay. The most comfortable pair of shoes you ever had on your feet, brother.
Hey, now you talk about shoes, you talking me right here, because I love some nice shoes. Now that I got gout, slippers are my favorite shoe. Now that I have the gout and arthritis and all that, like if you saw my legs, you would know why I love slippers. But my favorites are Gators. I just wore some. Actually, this past Sunday, I had my brother-in-law's wedding, And man, I'm like the gentleman that just talked a little while ago. I watched my grandfather. I never knew my father, but I watched my grandfather get dressed for church on Sunday morning. So now every Sunday morning is my day. My wife will tell you I got to be sharp from the head to the toes. And like the gentleman said, my grandfather taught me that a woman is looking at two things when she looks at a man: his hands and his feet. If either one of them is jacked up, you're not getting the date. That's why I always keep my fingernails good, and I always keep some nice shoes on my feet.
Okay, good deal.
Did y'all with the thick and thins with them?
Yeah, boy. I had them things shine with my cane. Oh, I'll show y'all a picture later.
Now you say from the head to the toe. So you say from the head to the toe. You also got that hat on when you go to church, man.
Whew, from the nose to the toes. That was good.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's go. Let me go right quick to who I want to go to. Leonard,
sir.
The most popular, Lord. The best most comfortable pair of shoes you ever feet.
I have a pair of Kohan Gators. When they first put that company assumed Nike, the partnership with them and Nike, and they put that cushion sole on the bottom of that Gator.
That did.
Man, that's my favorite shoe to this day, and I have a lot of shoes, but that's my favorite pair of shoes, and I have to get them repaired. That's how much I love the shoes.
Wow. That's good. Now, ain't no telling what we about to get, y'all, but I'm going to go to Tucson. Tucson, what's the most popular pair of shoes you ever had on your feet? That's ever graced your combs.
Yeah, well, I got a closet full of Stacy Adams. I really do. I do. Boots, shoes, different types. But I went to an event, and I had it was Tucks, and I wore my Tucks. But you know what I had on my feet? Convert or high top.
Lord Jesus.
You know what? I was gonna make fun and say that.
But he's serious.
He said it.
He's serious. He's serious, man. That's why I say, ain't no telling what we're gonna get, brother. He's serious too. He's serious.
Did you say Chucks?
Yes, sir.
I knew he was gonna say it
because I was comfortable, because I like to. I don't mind dressing up. But I'm always trying to figure a way to dress that dress up down.
So you put on the Chuck Taylor All-Stars.
So did.
I knew it was.
And you know what? You know what the amazing thing about that was? People were saying, "Man, you know what? I ain't never thought about that."
You started a new trend.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Lord, I won't be doing that.
I'm still sitting up here imagining a guy running in them Stacy Adams.
Yeah, that's a kicker right there.
Hey, with the thick and thins on and some shorts.
I made plenty of money.
It'd be good running, but until you have to stop in the rain.
Exactly.
I made plenty of money.
Have to stop in the rain.
Hey, Donald.
They slide all down the road.
I made plenty of money selling Stacy Adams. That Stacy Adams classic boot, $95.
There you go.
At JC Penney. That's where I used to work for years. And I used to love to sell those boots.
It's a good buy though. They last. They last me. Cornelius, talk to me, brother. The most comfortable pair of shoes that's ever graced your bunions.
Raheem, I got to be honest. I don't remember. I just actually don't remember. I'm sitting up here thinking, like, man, what type of shoes that really? I was just like, man, these things feel comfortable. I don't even remember, man. I can't even give you an answer.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't remember.
You get a chance. You get a chance now. Go out there and get you some Rockports, brother. If you get a chance, go out there and get you some Rockports just to try them out, just to experience them. Rodney, talk to me, brother. What's the best pair of shoes that's ever graced your cones and your bunions? Depending on what feet we talking about. What foot, I guess I should say. My wife educator. I gotta speak properly. What foot you talking about? Hold on. Oh, you muted, Rodney? Let me see. Hold on. You might be muted, brother. Hold on. No, you're not muted. Go ahead.
Hold on.
Rodney, you there?
Yeah.
Right. There you go. Okay. You're thinking about them shoes, huh? Right, we can't hear you, brother. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. There you go. There you go. Mm-hmm.
Keeps bouncing off. Yeah, Guy, you like this one. My favorite shoes when I was about in elementary school, I had the two-tone Buster Browns, the white and black ones. The reason why they were famous, I felt like a king because at the end of the day, those were my first shoes that I got brand new from a shoe store. And when I went to school with them two tones on and my little white shorts, you couldn't tell me nothing. You know, I had the two-tone Buster Browns. That was it, and they were comfortable because the other ones we had to put cardboard on the bottom. So you know, but those always stuck out. And then I graduated to Pro Kids and Stacy Adams.
There you go. There you go. And now I'm gonna ask y'all a question, man. You know, y'all might have had a better off than I had when I was growing up, man. But I had a pair of shoes, man. They was not Adidas because they had the extra stripe on the side. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Adidas got 3 stripes on the side. People here had 4 stripes on the side. I think they bought them from the grocery store somewhere.
Supermarket brand. You had the supermarket shoes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, they couldn't tell me nothing until one of my homeboys look. He said, "Wait a minute,
Skips."
Right.
You had the ShopRites. You had the brand new ShopRites.
He said, "Right, them ain't no Adidas, man. Them got 4 stripes." I was like, "Oh Lord, he done busted me."
You had those platinum Save-A-Lots on.
Exactly with the plastic bottoms, man. You know they didn't have the rubber bottom; they had the plastic bottoms on them. But anyway, hey, we got to get out of here, man. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us, man. I'm gonna go around right now, give everybody an opportunity, real briefly, to say whatever they want to say in their closing. Let's start with Badger. What would you like to say in your closing, sir?
In life, especially for being a male, there are expectations of what people think we should be like.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let it determine or control who you are. Find your relationship with Great Spirit, with God, you know, whoever you call upon, or whatever term you want to use, and find and learn to understand what love and having a true relationship really is.
That's good. That's good. Cornelius?
Yeah. Man, it's been fun. I've had the opportunity to enjoy the 4 broadcasts just about tonight. A little slow night here at work, but thank God for the opportunity to come on with you guys and just break bread and discuss some things. And I love what you're doing, man. Always, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
And all the gentlemen on here that's constantly, supporting what you have been going on all these years. But just continue, gentlemen, just continue to be encouraged in God, man. Seeking God for our lives, and as He continue to lead us and guide us and order our steps, because the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. So
Absolutely.
just continue to allow God to order your steps. And I thank God for each and every last 20 guys. God bless.
Hey, God bless you as well, man. Hey, to God be the glory, man. Definitely appreciate you. Toussaint, in your closing, sir.
You came to me. I wondered, how Solomon could ask for anything of God. And I thought about that, and what I'm in search for in my latter days, I call it now. Contentment. That's what I want. Contentment. In everything. Like what Paul said, I've learned to be content. I want to, and I tell y'all, man, I got 3 brand new grandchildren. Just born.
Yes, sir. Wow.
Thank God for it. You get something?
Yes, sir.
They're all healthy. But contentment is what I most desire in these days. Just to find a place where I am good, because the rest of it God can take care of.
Exactly. He said, "Yeah, y'all come and help me. Y'all missed that. He said, y'all come and help me." That's what he said. But listen, let's go to Joyful J in your closing, sir.
I'm just happy to be a part of this awesome show, Raheem. You've done it once again, my brother. If I could close with anything, it'd be your shirt. I was thinking about it just now. Live your spiritual truth, whatever it is. I wish I had it on. Live your spiritual truth, whatever that truth is. Live your spiritual truth.
Absolutely. Keep this thing going, and man, you know what I'm gonna say, brother. To God be the glory, man. He keep this thing going, man. 13 years strong, brother. To God be the glory. Captain Leonard.
Yes.
In your closing,
simply 2 Peter 3:9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. Yes, sir. And that scripture stands out to me and said, the Lord's not slow. He's patient with us. And we have to learn that and apply that as being men, is even being patient with other men.
Yes, sir.
And do understand that God's will is not that you should go into the pit, but that he's really ready and willing to forgive you, regardless of what that may be.
Absolutely. Rodney, in your closing, sir.
Yes, sir. I would really want to thank this platform. I really want to thank the brothers for being candid, open, and transparent. And I really do. We do have different ways of getting there, but we're all going in the same direction. And as I said, that iron sharpens iron, and Leonard, everybody on this panel is iron. So I definitely want to thank my brother Guy for stepping in and being a part of this. And I hope you can kind of do it more often, brother.
Absolutely. Good day. Rico?
And I hope somebody out there listening got some out of this conversation tonight on stay consistent, be positive, and have a good night.
Yes, sir. Let me go to Guy.
My brother.
In your closing, sir.
Yeah, my brother. Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure to specifically be around all brothers that can that we can walk through this journey. Rodney, hometown. Rodney and I, if y'all don't know, Rodney and I go back from elementary school and so forth back in Stamford, Connecticut, where I still am in today. So thank you, Rodney, for even telling me about this wonderful platform. Like you said, Raheem, awesome, truly blessed. One thing I want to leave with, and it was something and I'm a big, I can't really quote a lot of scriptures, but in the Quran, it says, verily for man, there's nothing but what he strives for. So whatever it is that you want and whatever it is that you're striving for in your life, get after it like your hair is on fire, and success is right there in front of you. So it's a blessing. I'm leaving with that statement. I do it every day of my life, and I thank you guys for being here.
Hey, thank you. I definitely appreciate it. But I got to ask you one question, brother, before we get out of here. We're going to get some out of the prayers out there. We're going to leave. You say like your hair's on fire, brother. What am I going to do, man? I ain't got no hair, man.
There's a couple of us up here.
Yeah, what he going to do? What he going to do? He going to burn his whole scalp off.
Yeah.
Jay with hair out there.
So, hold on. But you have that full beard.
Yeah, there you go.
You're right.
I like, man, wait a minute now. Like your hair on fire. Hold on, man.
Get after like your hair's on fire, man. Whatever it is that you want to get after.
Talk about the chest hair.
I thought it was a little gut push because I ain't got no hair. But, hey, Rico, we got this show that we do the Morning Glow every day, Monday through Friday from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the same platform every morning. But every Wednesday is a special show. We open up the phone line. We don't have a topic on Wednesdays, Rico. We just open it up for everybody to say what was on their heart. But we got a special name for that show, Rico. What's it called?
Oh, man, that show is called Way Out Wednesday, man. And y'all call in tomorrow because we getting down with the get down. The women against the men, man. The men against the women. We're going to get it on in this thing.
It's going to be something. Yeah, it's going to be
ready. Buckle them up.
Yeah, exactly. So y'all make sure y'all join us tomorrow morning, like I say, from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on DKM Media Group and Associates. Let me see. Joy for Jay.
Yes, sir.
Pray us out, sir.
Certainly will. Heavenly Father, we thank you in the matchless and mighty name of your Son, Yeshua, who is the Christ. We just thank you for another day. We thank you, God, for the morning glow. We thank you for this broadcast where us men could come on and being real men, talking real issues, God. We pray in the matchless name of your Son, Jesus, that someone got something out of what these gentlemen had to say. It was our opinions, and that's what we had to say is how we felt, God. So we pray that first, your name was glorified. Secondly, God, that someone received something positive out of this conversation, and that we can all go on and be better men, be better people for you and for others. We love you, dear God, and we thank you. We glorify you always, and we bless you. We ask these things, trusting in your Son's name, Jesus. We say thank you, Father. Thank you, Father, and amen.
Amen.
Man.
Good night, gentlemen.
It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and Real Men Being Men for part of your evening. It is now 10:06. You're about to exit Real Men Being Men. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light from your Real Men Being Men. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. Get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please, please, please be blessed. Love you. Take care of each other, and I'll see you tomorrow. Love you.